Hi everybody, welcome to Module 1. In this module, we're going to be learning about the differences between online and blended learning. But before we jump into that, I thought we'd go over a little bit, just some reminders about the course and some comments from Module 0, the pre-course exploration module. Before we dive right into Module 1, I want to go over a few things about the course in general and some comments about the pre-exploration phase we were in this past week. So looking here at this opening page, our welcome page, I wanted to remind you here at the bottom of the screen is a paragraph that talks about Fresno Pacific University credits. This is optional. But if you do want to do this, you have to apply for these credits at the same time that the course is being taken. We've had a lot of disappointed people that don't do it when they take the course and then try to contact us a year or two later, and when they are working on some master's degree program or something and they want to see if they can get the credits, and it's not a happy thing, but Fresno Pacific will only award the credits if they're awarded at the time that the course is completed on their records. And so anyway, so make sure if you want to do that, you send an email to Megan Lawhorn as it shows here, and you're going to want to also include your mailing address and what course you're in, and she will send out it's a paper packet for just this last semester. Coming this summer, they're going to make it all online registration. But for right now, there'll be a packet that will come to you in the U.S. mail, and that's why she needs your address. And you'll fill it out and send your check back to them. So that's how Fresno Pacific Credit works. The upcoming assignments, which is linked obviously to the calendar, I wanted to mention that these are their due dates. But they're not, drop dead, you're out of here if you miss a date. But we would like you, when you can't make a deadline, to contact us and let us know what's going on and what your best, guess at it. ETA on the assignment or assignments would be. If you do kind of anticipate you're going to have a problem and you have some choices in the matter, try to at least get your initial discussion post done by the Thursday so that everyone has the usual 3 days after that to make posts themselves to respond to you. Anytime you put those in at the day of the due date, those initial posts, or afterwards, nobody's going to be going back and looking, and you're not going to get any feedback, and it will make it difficult. And if you could even make the reply posts even better still, that's kind of the thing we really like to see you get done on time every time. Also, when we get to the collaborative assignment in Module 5, it would be important to do your best to work with your group during the 2-week period. You get 2 weeks on that one, so that you're not putting your whole group at some kind of disadvantage. So anyway, so deadlines, not really drop dead deadlines. They're due dates. And we just want you to try to stay as close to them as you can. Another reminder, if you don't finish something on time and do it after the due date, or if you do a fix to an assignment that didn't get full credit, make sure you use messaging here to send us an inbox message. And I'm just going to review that one for a minute here as well. And you'll create a message and make sure you put the recipients to be all teachers, and then put my 2.3 is now ready for rechecking or ready to grade, whichever is appropriate, and then send a little message, and we'll get it, and we'll get in there and check it for you. Once we do the grading, we don't go back through old assignments looking to see if anybody's done something or fixed something. I mean, it would be impossible, even with a small class like we have, to keep up with that. We really do depend on your messages for that. And then about knowing what to do when you don't have full credit, in the grade book, you'll be able to see your grades. Now, I'm in here as me, and I'm as a student me, and I haven't done any of my work yet. But by now, all of you see something under discussions now, and you'll see a percentage Many of you have 100% on it. Some of you have 50% on it. And if you have 100%, you'll see 100%, 1.5 points, 3 out of 3 points, excuse me, and a P for pass. If you don't have full credit, you're going to see 1.5 or 2 points, and then not full 100%. And then over here, it will say NP, and you'll see a little call out icon. Click the little call out icon and you'll see our comments. With discussions, it's often that you made the initial post, but you didn't reply to anybody else. Sometimes there's a problem even with the initial post if you didn't address all the questions or something of that nature. So, but just make sure you click on those little call outs so that you know what you need to do to fix the item. So, okay, with that, I think we're ready to go into Module 1 here. So I'm going to stop my recording. So one more thing before we go into Module 1, let's talk about Module 0, Pre-Course Exploration, and the assignments you just completed. First of all, we want to say that your discussion and your reflections are amazing. We're really thrilled with the way you are carrying conversations along, and it looks like most of you are revisiting, and that was the thing we wanted to make sure you heard again, though. Make sure once you make your initial post, and even if you've already made your reply posts, that you still go back in a couple times before the end of the week just to check to see if anybody's left a comment for you where they're waiting for your response. People don't leave comments asking questions for no one to answer them. So, and I know it's kind of a habit you have to build. So make sure that you revisit your discussion posts and check on those. And I've noticed that a few of you have even had a little discussion going on your reflections as well. So, make sure that you go back and look and see. You only have to do that 1 week. No one expects you to go back after the week is over. But just make sure that you do check and see if anybody's made any posts. And then lastly, if you didn't get full credit, ask yourself to go back and look at those call outs in your grade book to see what the comments were. And you're going to find that, either you weren't making your reply posts or you possibly didn't cover all of the bullets in the prompt. So in the first prompt here, you had 5 questions to answer in your discussion post. And then down here in your reflection, you had 2. So make sure that you actually address them all. And that's it for this slide. Now for Module 1, Evolution of Online and Blended Learning. This module is going to help you learn the differences between online learning, blended learning, and traditional classroom teaching, and how they overlap, how they're alike, how they're different, etc. So in this module, you're going to have 3 assignments. One is going to be a discussion post and replies on profiles of emerging models. Your portfolio assignment is going to be you creating a product that demonstrates how online and blended learning compare to face-to-face. And then you have a reflection on methodologies. So let's take a look down here at the course. It looks like I need to fix an icon, an image there, and I will. Anyway, so your learning objectives, we just went over those. Your textbook, if you click and follow the link, it will take you to Module 1, Evolution of Online and Blended Learning. And as you scroll through and look at this course, here you'll see some of the vocabulary. You'll go back and see, as you continue through, definitions more fully. You'll see linked reports that you need to read. You'll see videos you should watch, and links to the INACOL standards and different models shown, etc. I'm not going to go through all this right now because obviously you will have a chance to do that on your own. But you're going to proceed through the textbook, and eventually you'll get to the actual assignments for the module. You'll find them there. There's a little quiz. There's all kinds of stuff here. But if you look over on the left, you'll see that you'll get to the module assignments and resources eventually. So I'm going to back up here. And I guess it's not going to let me back up. So I'm going to pause for a minute. So let's take a look at the assignments for Module 1. 1.1 is your discussion prompt. Here you're going to read an article, and then down here below you are going to see your discussion prompt and some resources to check out. And then you post your post, and then your reply posts by Sunday, your initial post by Thursday. The portfolio assignment is 1.2. For this one, you're going to create a product using a Web 2.0 tool. And we've given some here, but you could use something else. If you're not sure, you can ask us. But anything that creates an infographic of some sort. We kind of find, but it's up to you, that Venn diagrams work really well for this assignment. And there are many ways to do that. You could even do a Venn diagram in a slide, and only give us the one slide image when you're done. It could be a Google slide. It could be a Microsoft PowerPoint online slide. Don't use desktop PowerPoint. But you could also use Google Draw or Microsoft Visio, or any of these tools that are listed here work great as well. Anyway, and you can see the prompt here is about creating a document that shows how they are alike and how they're different, online and blended versus face-to-face. So the second bullet here talks a lot about embedding. I'm going to show you at the end of today's lesson again how to do embedding. So it's really important that you embed your products on the page. In the online and blended learning environment, you don't want your students to have to click and go elsewhere because they often never get back to where they started. You want to embed these products right on the page. And I don't mean inserting an image of it on the page. I don't mean just putting a link of it on the page. I mean actually embedding a frame of the live copy that is really elsewhere. That way they have it without clicking, and they can scroll through it right there, and they can click any links you put on it from right there. So we'll learn about that, but the instructions are also printed right in the instructions here. And then your third assignment is to do your reflection. Now, this is at this point and from here on through this course, your reflection needs to take one of two routes. And so you're going to read all this here, but basically you're going to have to select whether you're going to talk about, I'll read it right here. Reflecting on your work in this module, how has it strengthened your skills in one or more of the blended learning teacher competencies? Specifically cite the domains, competencies, and standards. Okay, that's one way to go about this. Or, reflecting on your work in this module, how has it strengthened your skills in one or more of the INACOL standards for quality online teaching? Specifically cite the standards and teacher abilities. So you're going to have to pick one of these two routes to follow. And so you're going to have to say, am I going to be focusing on blended teaching, or am I going to be focusing on online teaching? So pick one of those, and from there on you're going to follow that with every reflection that you do, and go back to the source, like on the second option, go back to INACOL and look at the standards there and see which standards support, in that case, your work as an online teacher. And so if you have any questions about that, ask Sarah or I. But that is what's expected for these three assignments and on these reflections going forward. The basics of embedding. Okay, first of all, we embed so we make our product more user-friendly. Anything you can do to make things easier for your students is going to help everything else. So in whatever product you're creating your product in, So somewhere out there you're in PictoChart or you're in Google Slides or whatever. You want to look for the share tools. And then you're going to look for something, one of these, embed, HTML, brackets, or the bracket/bracket, and then select that. You're going to copy the gobbledygook text that comes up. Next, you're going to go to PowerSchool and select the option to add a content block. And you should already be in your wiki project when you do that. And you're going to want to activate, start your wiki project first. So I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And then you're going to select on-page text as the type of content block to add. Then you're going to select the toolbar button that's called source. And then click in the space where you would normally type, but you're not going to type, and just paste using Control V the embed code. And then you need to work on getting the width correct. For PowerSchool, the width available is 740. So if it does anything other than 740, you need to change that. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're not even going to try to read this part right now. And then you're going to click the Save button at the bottom of your screen. So I'm in PictoChart right now, and this is one of those tools that creates infographics. And you may be using it for 1.2, but maybe you'll decide to use something else. But I just wanted to show you one. Actually, I'm going to show you two. So what I click to get this is I click the share button, which you could see barely there. It's right there. I click share. I get this screen here. Okay, once this screen comes up, I look for the code for the embedding. If you'll notice right here is where it is for this one, and that's how it looks for PictoChart. And I'm going to click it. And it's going to come up. I've already been in here once, and it initially comes up with 800, which is too wide. So I already went in here and changed 740 and then clicked over here, and it changed it down here. And I select here by dragging through this, and now I hold Control C and I copy this. I don't need that stuff at the bottom. That's if you are very skilled at HTML, hypertext markup language editing, which I am not. So I just want the simple iframe coding up here, and I've already copied it. And so at this point now I'm going to go to PowerSchool, and I'm in PowerSchool, and you can see I'm in 1.2 portfolio assignment here. Scroll down to the bottom, it says View Projects. So you click that. Up comes a window. This is where you can get to doing your work here. And you'll see it says Start My Wiki Site. So you click that button. And I'm in here as Sue Christensen student. So it's doing that in my little world for me as a student. And you can do that only for you. It won't affect anybody else's. So now I've got this screen. I click down here at the bottom, click Begin. This is how you'll start every wiki project. But this one, I'm also doing embedding, and you probably will be too. So thought this would be a good thing for us to do at this point. Okay, so now up here at the top, we want to go into edit mode. And if I scroll down, you can see the only thing I've got available to do is add a content block. So I pick that. I pick on-page text. I could name this. I'm just going to name this 1.2 comparison. Whoops, I help to spell of blended online and face-to-face teaching. Okay, and then I click in the space below here. Oh, but wait, I'm not in source mode yet. So I need to click up here where it says source. And now I click down here, and see how you get yellow? That's how you know you're in source code mode. And now I'm going to hold Control and V, and that pastes my embed code in. And you'll notice that it has the 740 I needed, and it's got a really huge height because PictoChart makes these big long posters. And then down here at the bottom I click Save, And you'll see that PictoChart is loading right up in my wiki project. And the way you know it's embedded is there's a scroll bar. Okay? If you just put a screenshot or a picture image here instead, it wouldn't work. The big thing that won't work about that is if you had any links in your object, the links won't work. But on top of that, they're going to have to click and go somewhere else to see the full project. Okay, so that's how you do that for PictoChart. And you could and you should actually also add a link nearby. So I would just go up here and go and pick web links and link to PictoChart. And then you would paste the link, which I'd have to go back here to PictoChart and back up here to get the link. Here's the link. And I can copy that. Okay, and now I can post that as well. And save it. And it put that right above it. And, oh, you know what it did, though? It actually, I need to edit that. I should have put the words for what it should be linked to. That's the label. Click here for direct link to my PictoChart. Okay, and then save that. It's a little easier. You want to do everything you can to make things easy for your students. So now this actually could be moved over to the side if you wanted to, so it doesn't take up too much space. It's up to you. So that's how to do it, embedding from PictoChart. Let's now go to Google. So I'm going to open up a Google screen, and I am not signed in, so I guess I better sign in first. It signed me in. It wants to always do that when I'm in, I guess I'm in Edge right now. Okay, and so now I'm going to go to Google Drive, and I'm going to create a really quick little drawing and then embed that, because that might be what you decide to do. Maybe you decide that you're creative and you just want to use drawing tools. So you go up here to the top and you click New, and you initially don't see drawing. So you click More and go to Google Drawings, and it will open up a Google Drawing screen. And it's a little like Paint, in Microsoft. Actually, the online Microsoft version is Visio, and if you're an Office 365 district, you can open Visio. It does the same exact thing as this. So I'm going to insert a couple objects here. So insert shape, and I'll do circles. So I'm going to make a circle, and I'm going to duplicate that. I just did Control D, by the way, to duplicate it. And voila, Venn diagram. Although you're going to have to play with, by right-clicking, you're going to have to play with colors and being able to type on it and see through and all that. But now let's just say we're all done, and I've got all my labeling on the screen and everything else. You would use insert text and some other stuff. Okay, so now I actually want to make this viewable in my PowerSchool with embed code. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go over to File and pick Publish to Web. And it's the exact same step if you did this in Google Slides, Google Docs, whatever. You always have to go here first, not to share. So you go to Publish to the Web, and then you'll see you can get the link off the first screen or embed off the second. Either way, you got to click Publish to get the code or the link. Are you sure you want to publish? Because this makes it public. Okay, and then there is your embed code. It's all selected, so it even reminds you, hold Control and C to copy. And then you go over to PowerSchool, and I'm going to add another content block, on page text. Name it Venn2. I don't know. And then up here, I'm going to click on Source, click in the box, click Control V to paste. Now I need to stop because I need to check out the width. And I don't think the width is going to work for us here. So change this to 740. Height, we'll see what happens. We may have to come back in. You would just come back in and click source again to change the height if you need to change it. I'm going to go ahead and see if this will work this way. And then there, it worked. Okay, so now I'm back in PowerSchool, and this is an embedded copy. The really great thing about embedding is that when you need to fix it, and 9 times out of 10 you will have to fix it, you just go back to Google or back to Pictochart and fix it. It will automatically be fixed in PowerSchool because the embedded version is just a live copy being viewed through PowerSchool. So with that, I think we're done. You could see you could add another link for this one because this is the link to the Pictochart. We would then add another content block web link for a link to this version, which is a Google document. Okay, so I think you guys probably have embed now down. That closes out my overview of Module 1. We'll be looking forward to seeing your initial posts on Thursday and your rest of your work on Sunday night. And all I could say is enjoy the learning. Bye-bye.